Hello, simplifiers. This may not be the best view of my house, but I have you propped on. When Knock was sleeping out here, we bought him a little Amazon house. I usually prop you higher up, but it's directly in the sun, so I know it's too warm to sit there. So I'm just gonna sit here and talk to you a minute. I have an update. I've got two things I want to talk about. I have an update about the allergy issues. I got results from the allergist, and he also put notes on it. I waited till he put the notes to get back with you guys on that. I'm going to see him next week, so I'll have more of an update hopefully then. But the other thing I want to talk about is something called teal, like the color teal, T-E-A-L. Teal Health has a way to sort of do a pap smear at home yourself. And I found this on Facebook, of course, where else? A Facebook ad. And I signed up almost immediately. I read a few things, I think I watched a video that was a few minutes long. It's not exactly a pap smear, but what it does is it without having to go to the doctor, which I do not want to do. I just have a blockage, a mental blockage about going and having a pap smear. It's been years since I've had one. I wouldn't consider myself at high risk at all. I've been married for 34 years. I know there are men out there who are terrible and who are doing things. I couldn't swear 100% that, mine's not doing something, but as far as I'm concerned, we're very happy and we have a very healthy marriage, and we rarely argue, fuss, or fight about anything. We're basically best friends. We spend a lot of time together. So I wouldn't exactly say I'm at risk for anything. And I know a pap smear is more complete than what I'm going to be doing, but I just have not been able to bring myself to go get that done since I developed the horrible case of vaginal atrophy. So that's why I chose to do this. So let me talk about the allergies first, and then we'll get into that. And I'm not telling you to do it, not by a long shot. If you are comfortable with the whole pap smear experience, please continue to do that. Get your pap smears, do the proper thing. If you're like me, I don't know that I've had one since 2019, and it might have been 2018. Honestly, I don't remember when I last had one. And with me, I've never had an abnormal one. So for me, I just feel like I'm at very low risk and not real concerned about it, if I'm being honest. Not that they couldn't find something, they do feel around and do other things besides just the pap smear, but it's just a very uncomfortable experience. And all of you who are women know it. You're not going to sit here and tell me it's not uncomfortable, because it is. Just the stirrups. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the stirrups, and they always give me like the worst. Why can't you get like a regular gown? It's just this paper. It's just, I don't know, y'all. I just don't like it. I just don't like it at all. Anyway, let's get back to the allergies. So just to recap very quickly, out of nowhere, I started itching, or to me, it was out of nowhere. I started itching. Every time I was eating, I was itching, and I have a lot of dairy. So for breakfast, I had quite a bit of dairy. So what I was noticing was, while I was itching with every meal, I was having anaphylactic type symptoms, and I was able to, thankfully, I was very quickly able to tie that to milk or dairy. It was milk, and then I tied it to yogurt, because I tried yogurt after I figured out almost immediately it was milk, and then I thought I'll just try yogurt and see what happens. Had another episode with yogurt. So I cut out dairy thinking that was making me itch, and then I realized that's not what was making me itch, or it was, but it feels like everything's making me itch. So then I made an appointment. I was concerned about the anaphylactic type reactions I'd had. So I made an appointment with an allergist to see if we could get it figured out. I'm just going to be honest, and I think I probably said this at the time. I did not think anything would show up. And I think I said that. I remember I for sure told my sister, because my sister was like, you need to go to the person I go to, which is not a doctor. He's in with my ENT, but he is not a doctor. And I wanted to go see an actual doctor. And this is nothing against nurse practitioners, nothing against PAs. I've had great nurse practitioners. I've seen some PAs lately who were not so great. This year, I went to 2 PAs, and mediocre, what is that? mediocre, not the best. Both of them just did not meet my standards. So she mentioned that to me. I have some issues with my ENT. I told this a million times, so I won't get into it, but I don't want to pad that doctor's pocket anymore. I've already spent a lot on a surgery. My insurance has paid him a lot of money, etc. and so on. I'm tired of padding his pocket, so I did not want to go to his allergist. I wanted to pick my own. So I picked my own. Spencer had been to him. He liked him. He's been an allergist for over 30 years. His dad was an allergist. So anyway, to cut to the chase, I finally got it took several days. It might have been a week, but I finally got the minute I sit here, the train. Here we go with the train. I finally got the results online. And then several days later, he put notes into the app. I'm just going to let him finish. Are you done? Nope. Love the train. Anyway, if it's not that, it's the bells. If it's not that, it's a siren. We know the drill. The birds left, so the purple martins aren't screeching. They're so loud. I know some of my videos, man. I bet that irritates people. They're so loud. But they have left, which we hate that because they're darling. They're so cute. They're the most darling birds you've ever seen. That and barn swallows, they're related. It's so cute. Anyway, so he updated the notes portion of it yesterday. I didn't understand all the notes, so I can't really explain to you, but I did not show up allergic to anything. I was not shocked. Dairy didn't show, in big lights, not at all. Dairy didn't show up any more than anything else did. There was nothing that showed up. He checked my tryptase. If anybody knows why, I haven't talked to him to ask him why he checked that. I don't know what. I did look it up just to see what the level meant. And it also, so there were two different panels. One was more like plants and trees and stuff, and one was more like foods and, I guess one was more like foods and common allergens, and then one was more the trees and the grasses and the Timothy weed and the stuff I've never even heard of. So anyway, nothing showed up. I was not surprised. Not surprised at all. It also tests for, what is it, immunoglobulin E, I think. So I'll look that up. It was in normal range, but it was low. So it's low normal. And he said, it's fine. One of the things he said in the notes is it's fine. But something about that, and then he started throwing out some numbers, and Spencer read it. Neither one of us understood. We're not math majors, and he didn't. I think Spencer understood it a fraction. If we can get into fractions. He understood a fraction more than I did, but neither one of us really understands. So I'll just have him explain it while I'm there. But something about the numbers, he said it could, even though it's not showing up as an allergy, it still could be showing it a little bit. But I didn't really understand because everything was said normal and everything was, I think it's like less than 0.09, I think is what it was. I want to say that's what I should have brought my phone out here because it's all on the phone. Anyway, whatever, every single thing was normal. I just looked all the way down. Normal, and also the same thing. So dairy didn't show up any more than anything else, in other words. So basically that's the part I didn't understand of his message. The part of the message I did understand was that the immunoglobulin, even though it was only 4 and that is low, that's still a normal number. And so he's like, that's not a problem. But he did say, I guess because of that being kind of low normal, that could have something to do with something. I don't know. If y'all know, shoot me a comment, because I do not know. But anyway, but he said, continue to not do dairy. And if anything else is causing you that kind of, if you could figure out what else is causing you that kind of reaction, discontinue that as well. So I have not had any kind of anaphylactic reaction except to milk or dairy. So I'd mentioned the first time I was in the process of drinking my hot chocolate, which is milk. It's mostly milk. It has other things in it, but I'm doing that now still with coconut milk, and I'm not having a reaction. I might have some itching, but I'm not having a reaction. I'm having itching just pretty much with many things. But But when I was drinking that, my throat started swelling. Okay, so then a few days later, I thought I will just try some yogurt because maybe it's just milk. You don't know until you try it. And then my throat felt like it was closing up. Both times I had Benadryl. I'd already had some Benadryl, and then I just took another one, and it immediately stopped. So I felt pretty I felt very comfortable about that. But then I did feel uncomfortable as I'm itching, and I don't know what's causing it. And still, with these tests, worthless. Okay, worthless, because I still don't know what's causing it. Right? Does anyone know what's causing it yet? I noticed one day peaches really made me itch real bad, but I didn't have any kind of anaphylactic anything with the peaches. It was just so itchy that you don't want them. You just want to avoid. So he told me I could maybe do canned peaches, anything that was cooked. So or maybe 30 minutes ago, I had some, just a little. I don't do like an entire can of peaches, but just a little bit of canned peaches. So I'm not having an entire peach. I'm not feeling a reaction from that. So that's kind of interesting, because he thought maybe it was, what is it? OAM, oral allergy something. I don't remember, but he thought maybe it was the oral allergy. Well, that's not showing up either. It's not saying it's not that. It's just not showing up. I mean, we don't know. We don't know. So, and I do think we eat a lot of watermelon this summer, and I think watermelon's causing some itching. But again, not an anaphylactic type reaction. It's literally just itching. So, I'm not avoiding it. I am avoiding the peaches because it was so bad. I was just like, oh my gosh. So when it's like that, and it's peaches, and you just don't do peaches, which is fine. It's fine. Now, we went to a potluck, and I was trying to figure out what to eat, and I was like, I'm just gonna have to avoid the desserts altogether. There was a lot of fruit, so I had some fruit. A couple I know make spaghetti, so I knew it was safe, although honestly it made my stomach hurt. Usually theirs doesn't. I don't know if they changed something, but usually I always eat theirs and it doesn't bother me. This time I did notice it was bothering me, and Spencer said he thought it had onions or garlic or something in it, which it probably did. But I said, well, she told me she's allergic to onions, so I don't think it had onions. But anyway, I have problems with onions, and also have problems with peppers. I didn't see onion or pepper in it, so I don't know. But I guess he smelled it. Well, you can smell garlic. It probably had garlic. And maybe the garlic's bothering me. And then, so anyway, one of the ladies sitting at our table, we haven't seen her in a long time. She and her family changed churches, but we had homecoming, so we had the potluck. So they came back for the homecoming celebration, and she had made peach cobbler, which, by the way, normally I'm not going to go seek out peach cobbler. I would eat something chocolatey, right? And it probably would have made more sense to eat something chocolatey, just a small square of something chocolatey, something really small. I had a small, probably maybe that much cobbler, and he told me I could try cheese. And I tried cheese. That caused my lip to be numb, because he said he can eat cheese, but he can't do dairy. It caused my lip to be numb, so I was like, I'm not even going to bother. There's no reason, because I've got this vegan cheese, and it tastes fine to me. Is it the same? No. Is it good enough? Yes. Yes, it is. So, is any of it as healthy as cheese? It's causing me a lot of problems, so it's not healthy if it's causing you problems, right? So, and then I tried butter. I did not have a reaction to butter. I think, what did I do? Just butter some bread. I think maybe I just buttered one piece of bread and just tried that. No. I put a small amount of butter on a baked potato and did not notice anything except that it stopped my nose up. And this is my bad side, and I'm sick of this side being stopped up. Like right now, it doesn't feel stopped up. It doesn't feel stopped up at all. But it still does overnight. It feels stopped up overnight. But when I ate the butter on the potato, and I've been eating potatoes plain and not having this. I ate the butter on it. I did not have any reaction except that my nose stopped up. And I was like, okay, so I can have butter. It won't kill me, but it makes my nose stuffy, and I'm trying to avoid stuffy nose. So I'll just skip the butter. So I don't make cobbler, so I know it probably has butter in it, and I'm assuming, and I'm wondering if that crust probably has milk. And I didn't ask her. I should have just asked her. What I noticed, and I read about it, it says this is also like an anaphylactic type issue. all of a sudden, out of nowhere, and this was right after I consumed it, probably 10 minutes later, my heart was pounding. And I was like, oh, great. Is this part of anaphylaxis? Now, I'm taking those antihistamines twice a day. I'm not taking Benadryl. He told me, try not to take that. Just take I'm on Zazal, and it's helped the itching a lot. He's like, just, Benadryl's not good. We all know, supposedly. I think it's one of the things linked to dementia. I don't know. I've never taken tons of Benadryl, but I'm also not scared to take it. So I was taking a lot with this, but generally speaking, no, I don't take it. I have it at my house in case there's an allergic reaction. Otherwise, I don't take it. Anyway, so I'd had that, and I had the EpiPen with me, and I thought, well, I'm not wanting to EpiPen unless I have to. And I had Benadryl with me, but I didn't take it. It wasn't so bad. I just noticed it, and I thought, this is interesting that all of a sudden I can feel my heart pounding, and it feels like it's racing. And so then I Googled it. Yes, can be an anaphylactic type. So I was like, great. No more. Not that that's my first choice anyway. Chocolate's my first choice. And I found some chocolate I can eat. So there's just regular dark chocolate, the Great Value brand. A regular, and like this, it would be also like the special dark. I think Hershey's. I didn't look at the Hershey's special dark ingredients, but the Great Value bar, their bars are like this big. They do not have milk. They say on there, manufactured in a facility with milk. That doesn't seem to bother me. I've eaten many things that say that, and I eat it sparingly just to make sure. Not having a problem with that. It seems to only be if milk, dairy enters my body that there's a problem. Thank the Lord, because I was buying these very expensive chocolate bars, and they're good. Nothing against them, but it's almost $5, and I can get this Great Value bar for like, in fact, it may be a bigger bar. I think it is bigger, for $2. So, $2 over here, or almost $5 over here. I'm gonna go with the $2 every time. Although I do like the special chocolate up, and it also it says it can have some milk in it. That's not an ingredient, but it could have some cross contamination. So both of those bars say that. Anyway. And some people, I'm just thankful that I'm not so allergic that I can't have the cross contamination. Apparently that is not bothering me. Come on out. Come on. These cats, I'm telling you, they just, in and out. So, so far not having a cross contamination problem, and I'm thankful, because that would just be horrible. So as far as, I think I've told you everything. I probably got off course, but as far as the allergies go, still not, the only things I've narrowed down are dairy and peaches, and canned peaches. Like I said, I just had a little bit from a can of canned peaches, and I seem to be fine. So I don't know. I think he was kind of making it sound like if it was cooked, I'd be okay, but that dessert I had, obviously that was cooked, and I'm sure it probably had some milk in it. It had something in it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I would probably try, since I have the EpiPen and since I know Benadryl works pretty quickly, I would maybe try a very small piece of cake, maybe. However, I've already found two recipe, very simple cookie recipes. One's peanut butter, only has 3 ingredients. One is a fudgy type cookie, only has 3 ingredients, which, by the way, I don't like to cook that much. Hearing 3 or 4 ingredients is like, I believe I can make that, and you can just like scoop it with a spoon and just, pour it on the cookie sheet, and it spreads out, and you don't have to go to a lot of trouble or like you roll it. I think the peanut butter cookie said to roll them, but I would probably just put it in a ball and then flatten it, and I don't think I'm going to roll it. I don't have I may still have a roller. I can't remember. I do declutter, so I don't know. I don't really ever use a roller, but I might have kept it in case Spencer needed. He might cook something. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get back to this pap smear thing. So it's not a pap smear. Obviously, no one is looking inside you or feeling, your pelvic area. No one's with you. You're doing this all by yourself. But this thing from Teal, T-E-A-L, it's longer than a tampon, but they made it the size of a tampon, which, how great is that, y'all? if you have any issues down there, how great is the tampon size? And so they make it, it looks like it's about this long, but she said there is no need, a lot of people are commenting. You see all these very negative comments. This is not a pap smear. It never said it was. It said it was an alternative. It's FDA authorized. So I don't know what the difference in authorized and approved, we could, I'm sure, look it up, but so it's FDA authorized as an alternative to a pap smear. If you have anxiety around a pap smear, and if you're like me and you just don't go, you just say, well, I probably have a very low risk, and I've never had a negative, and I've never had a positive, and I'm just not going to go, and you're anxious and you just don't go. I think this is a really, really good alternative. I did have to pay $99 for the kit. My insurance is supposed to cover the rest of it. I think if your insurance wouldn't cover, or if you didn't have insurance or whatever, it would be around $300, which I'm just going to tell you from my standpoint, I would pay for it. We can afford to pay for that. I pay for something called, I've only done it once, but I need to go have it done again. It's called HerScan, and it's an ultrasound of your breast, because I don't like mammograms, and I've heard that thermography is really good, and then I've also heard, and you have to pay for that out of pocket, and I've also heard that thermography doesn't catch everything. And I think that HerScan, which is an ultrasound, I feel more confident that would catch it over what I've heard from thermography, because I had to have, what is it called, diagnostic ultrasounds, and every year I was having the mammogram with extra views, which is more radiation, and the ultrasound, and I want the ultrasound, and then they quit doing the ultrasounds. And so, like, I guess if they just decide you don't need it anymore, then the insurance doesn't pay for it, and then, if you asked for it, you'd be stuck with it, whatever. So, and it might be that your doctor could ask for it, I don't know. I never looked into that, but they told me because they've quit, now they're only doing screening on me, and I've quit having it done. I started HerScan last year, and I was so nervous about all the radiation that not just the radiation, the pushing, the shoving you into this, and I'm so small. I mean, like, what is there to shove? And then it's like, and it's incredibly painful. I have painful as the fibrocystic, whatever, breasts, and it's painful. I'm very small, and then the whole breast is made up of these cysts. It's very dense and hard to see. And mammogram is not the best for that. If you haven't heard about it or read about it, mammogram is not the best for fibrocystic, dense breast. It does not see everything. And so between the shoving and the pushing and the smashing, I was like, I don't see how that's safe. But it also makes me nervous because I've got a real good friend, and she had breast cancer twice in the same breast, and mammogram caught it. That's what caught it. And a lot of people say mammogram doesn't catch anything. Mammogram catches a lot, because my friend's was very, very, I think she opted to do chemo. I'm not sure she had to. It might have been that they told her definitely do radiation. But anyway, she did do chemo. But it was very early. She's in her 80s now. This happened many years ago. She's still alive. So it's not that I'm against mammography. I just think for me, it's not the best, because I'm so dense and it's just hard to see anything. And then if they're saying, well, you can't get an ultrasound now, it's like, geez. So I'm paying $295 to get an ultrasound. And the woman who did mine, she's done this, I think she said she'd done it for like 20 years. I'd never heard of it. But it's called HerScan, HerScan. So I started that, and I was paying that, and like I said, only did it once, but I paid that out of my pocket. That's not in a doctor's office. I ended up going to they send you to different places. I ended up going to a hair place, a salon, and I went into a back room, and she saw me back there. It was just a small room, and she just set me up, and she did the ultrasound, and she was very kind, and she's done this forever, and she's an older lady. She actually reminded me so much of Spencer's mother. It was crazy. Spencer's mother was very hippie. And this one, I walked in, and just her voice, everything about her, I was like, oh my gosh, long-time smoker, like Spencer's mom, and hippie. And I was like, this is kind of hilarious that she's so much like Spencer's mom. So that was kind of interesting. But anyway, so that's a different alternative thing that I'm doing that I am paying for. I do need to schedule that. I just haven't done it. I think it's been maybe a little bit. I think maybe I did it in May last year, so it's not way over time. I don't know why that, one thing I don't understand is why have they not sent me an email? Like, you'd think they'd send me an email say it's time for your her scan if you want to do it every year, which I am. I want to do it every year. So, anyway, this teal, back to this teal thing, it's, okay, they make it long, but you don't have to shove it this far, okay? They make it long for everyone's body type. So let's say you have a long torso. I don't think I do, but let's just say you're super tall, long torso, and you need a longer one. She said you only, and I've watched videos too, you only put it in as far as it's comfortable. If you start hitting up against something, you just stop. All you're doing is, it got a little sponge on the end, all you're doing is putting it inside you enough to get the, it's my understanding from watching these videos, if you have HPV, it's all over. You're not having to bump up against your cervix or look for your cervix or try to figure out where your cervix is. That's what a lot of the comments were. Well, how would you know where your cervix is? You don't have to know where it is, okay? You don't need to look for your cervix. You simply put this in. It's like a tampon. If you start hitting it up against something or it's uncomfortable, you just stop right there, because the HPV, according to these experts, is everywhere in there if you have it. And then it has a little dial. This part I'm a little confused about, because like, if you know, if you're laying back and doing this, and then the little dial, I'm not sure how, you know, and I may have to get, Spencer and I have been married forever. I might have to get some help. I will probably try it by myself first. And I think they don't say anything about you needing help. So I think it's, you probably can do it without help. But you have to twist this little dial, and you do that 10 times, and that moves the sponge around. And so it's getting, if there's any HPV, it's getting whatever's in there collected onto this sponge. And then you take it back out, and then you peel the sides back, and you pop this little sponge off. And she showed me, and there's a video showing you, like, I didn't even really need to talk to her. We did, I mean, she's a gynecologist. She's on a lot of the videos. It was nice talking to her, but she didn't really tell me anything I hadn't already seen in the videos. But you schedule that Zoom, and she talks to you. She couldn't have been nicer. It was a very comfortable talk. I had no trouble talking to her about, she asked me why I chose this, and I said, you know, I had this terrible vaginal atrophy. I was in horrible pain, and I said, I'm not having any pain at all now. I just have this anxiety about, I just don't want to go. And I said, I haven't scheduled an appointment. I don't schedule the appointment. For years I've known, yes, I need to schedule the appointment. I am not scheduling it. And I said I saw this, and I was like, boom, order my kit. Sign me up. I'm doing it right now. I paid my money, paid the $99, and boom, I'm ready to go. So you meet with this doctor on Zoom first, and then they prepare your order to ship. So I just met with her this morning. Immediately you get a text or an email, maybe both, saying, we're preparing your order to ship. So as soon as you see the doctor, boom, they're preparing. So I like the process. She was so easy to talk to. She was like, if you have any questions, all you gotta do is contact us or contact me, I can't remember. And she just showed me the whole process. You just pop this little sponge off. You peel this thing down, you pop the sponge right off. You put it into a little vial. The vial, she said the vial doesn't have any water or any liquid or anything. You just put it in the vial, put the top on. She showed me the shipping package. You just put this in, it's ready to go. You don't have to pay anything to ship it. It's, I think you just, you know, take it down here to the post office, stick it in that thing, seal it up, take it to the post office, and it's all handled from there, and you don't have to do anything else. So how simple is that? For somebody who doesn't want to make the appointment, doesn't want to go, doesn't want to deal with it, very uncomfortable about the whole thing, just don't want to do it. Very simple. And most of the cervical cancer does come, I don't know, I think the percentage is pretty high. Most cervical cancer comes from HPV. I wouldn't expect that I would have HPV. We have an extended family member. It's not on my side, but there's an extended way out there family member. She's not actually, she's married into the family. She's not related to us. And she has an HPV cancer, and her husband now has developed an HPV cancer. And why they're telling people, listen, if I developed an HPV cancer, I would not tell anyone. I would just keep that to myself, because as soon as we started hearing this, I was like, what y'all been doing? Because these are older people. These are not children, okay? These are not youngsters. This is an older couple. And Then months later, maybe a year later, we get together with some family, and I didn't say a word, and Spencer didn't say a word. The other family members were saying, you know, they both have HPV. How odd is that? Well, something happened. That's long-time married couple. HPV doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. I don't think it percolates for 40 years. I just don't think that's a thing. So, and I'm not making fun. I'm laughing. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's devastating. It's devastating. One of them seems to be okay. The other one is not. It's not going to be okay. It's devastating. But I never understood. I was like, do y'all not know what that is? I wouldn't tell anybody that. I just wouldn't. I don't know why they felt the need to tell people. So anyway, I think I'm at a very low risk for that, but just the fact that I refused to go have a pap smear, I thought that this is a good idea just to get it done. You only have to do it every 3 years, so if I want to go to the doctor and have it done, have the regular thing done, I can go. If in the meantime I decide I just want to do this again, I'll just do this again 3 years from now. And she said after 65 you don't have to do it anymore, and I was like, I'm not sure this woman wasn't 65 when she got the HPV. So I don't even think that's a good idea. If you think you might be at risk, I don't know, cutting it off at 65 is a good idea. I'm just saying. And insurance does pay for, I think it's I know my mom was complaining, I think maybe it's every 2 years, but better every 2 years than nothing as far as a pap smear goes. Or just, look, pay out of your pocket. Sometimes, you know, we all rely on insurance, and we have insurance and we rely on it, but your health is more important than what the insurance will or will not cover. And if you feel like you need to go every year and get that done, you can ask them, what would I have to pay cash? My insurance is not going to cover it this year. I want to have this done every year. I feel like I could be at risk. I want to have this done again next year. What do I need to pay you to do this? And supposedly they'll work with you on cash payments. So I'm one of these people, so like we've never had pet insurance. We have all these pets. We have to go to the vet. We have to pay cash right there up front, or we're credit, you know, it's credit card, but we don't revolve our credit, so it's basically cash. We pay up front. We pay our bill off every month. And we've had, you know, thousands in vet bills some years. Ranger cost me several thousand. Trying to save Ranger's life was several thousand. And that was not even going to an oncologist and having anything done, right? That was strictly dealing with my vet. It was several $1,000s later when we finally got an answer. So we're used to paying for things out of our pocket. It's just the way it is. And even with insurance, all these years there have been out-of-pocket costs. It's not like with insurance, everything's always covered all the time. That's not the way insurance works, especially anymore. I just feel like it just gets worse and worse. So, you know, you're going to have to pay some cost. You've got to pay some cost. And your health is more important than whatever, you know, this cost is. So if you're at risk, please get tested. Please go get the actual pap smear and get it done every year. If you feel like that's what you need to do, if you feel like you've got a risky situation, please go get tested. I just feel like 34 years of marriage, we've never had any real problems. I feel like we're tied to each other. I mean, you know, Spencer's a great guy. I'm not really worried about what he's doing or not doing. So, you know, and like I said, I've always just had a negative test. So just, and she asked me about that. I said, never had a positive, never. I said, we've been married 34 years. I don't expect to have a problem. I said, but you never know, you know, and I'm just being honest. You don't ever know. You never know what's going on. You can assume and you can hope and you can pray and all these things, but I don't know. Anything can happen. I've heard so many stories over the years, you know, anything could happen. So anyway, I do feel very strongly about protecting our health and doing what we have to do for our health. And if that means paying something out of pocket, then, you know, by all means, save up if you need to and pay for it. All right. Well, I love you guys. I hope that this answers some questions. If you have any questions about any of it, I don't know that much more about the allergy situation to tell you about it, because I just don't know. And he was like, we'll discuss it at your next appointment, which is next week. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday morning. So today is Wednesday. So it's in a week. So in a week, I'll get some answers maybe. I don't know how many answers he's going to have, but we'll see what he has to say. He had mentioned, I think I maybe already told you, he had mentioned a drink, and I looked it up. You drink it every time you eat, and I looked it up. It helps with the itching and with the reflux. It's pretty obvious to me that the reflux is also in play. And Noah, Marissa, I think you were right. You mentioned reflux to me. I think you're right. If the reflux is bothering me, the itching starts up, or it starts up worse. It gets worse. Like overnight, you know, reflux will be a problem sometimes, and I would wake up in the middle of the night, I'd be itching right here. This is where a lot of it would just be, right here. And I would wake up and this would be itching, and that would have to do with, I think, reflux. I didn't really feel bad, but maybe my system wasn't quite right. But this drink, he didn't ever say MCAS, but Jenny had mentioned it, and the drink, that is what the drink he mentioned to me is for. And you drink it before all your meals, and actually some people do it 4 times a day, and I'm wanting to try it. I hope that he's on board with me trying it. I want to try it because these stomach issues, it doesn't matter what I do, I can't get control of it. If nothing else, even if the itching never stopped, I would like my stomach problems to calm down. It's not just, you know, like I know Marissa mentioned heartburn. I actually never have heartburn, never. I don't remember ever having it. Mine is more, I've had gas pains, which I don't think is the same thing as heartburn. It's more over here on my side. I've had gas pains. I have a lot of nausea, and I was reading this MCAS and this drink helps the nausea. So I was like, well, if I can get the nausea calmed down and the reflux, mostly I just need to burp. That's my whole thing. I just feel a pressure building, and if I can just burp, I'm better. I'm better already. So anyway, that's, you know, TMI. Anyway, I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.